Hi guys, it is Mr Fed. Welcome back to the channel. I am back in the man cave. I thought I'd take part in a quick Q&A session that's going around some of the retro gaming channels, and they're listing 3 of their favourite consoles and 3 of their least favourite consoles. Now, I am a Nintendo fanboy, so in order to assist me with listing my favourite consoles, I have brought along a friend called Mr Cappy, which I'll just put on my big old head like that. It's actually too small to fit properly, but that's fine. We'll just leave it perched there for the duration of the video. Prior to going into the discussion about my 3 favourite consoles and my 3 least favourite consoles, I do have a quick taste test review to bring to you, and that is a Honey Cider. Now, I have never had honey cider before. I don't like my cider really to taste of anything apart from apples. For example, pear cider tastes like it has come directly out of the devil's nutsack. So I'm not holding too much hope that I'm going to enjoy this. I picked it up from a English heritage site, one of these kind of big mansions, a little bit like what was his name, old Lord Legley or something like that, Manor Legley, I can't remember, but one of these big English heritage manor grade 3 listed buildings. They were selling cider in one of their shops, and I thought, yeah, I'll pick up a can. It's 4%, so a little bit too weak for me, but you know, I'm still intrigued enough to give it a go. So I'm going to pour it into my glass. That's enough talking now. It's time for the drinking. Found me little half pint glass. Let's give it a go. See what sort of colour we have. I don't know if you can see that in this light. It's getting pretty dark. The skylight's sort of, it's getting close to sort of 5 o'clock now. It gets dark early, doesn't it? But it looks okay. It's got some bubbles in it. So let's give it a go. Are we going to enjoy this or not? Cut, go to commercial. Oh my God, what is that? That's, oh, no. The answer is no. We're not going to enjoy that. That tastes like, it tastes like cough syrup. It tastes like cough syrup. It tastes like something that your mother gives you if you've got a cold or flu. And she needs to get you to go to school. You know, she'll send you to school with a couple of spoonfuls of that. So, oh my goodness, honey and cider do not mix. There we go. This is one to avoid at all costs. It's called Honey Cider. It's not very nice at all. I mean, it doesn't. You can't even taste the alcohol in it. To be fair, it's so weak you can't even taste the alcohol in it. Oh no, no. I'll be tipping that down the sink and I'll be getting myself a glass of wine. Anyway, my 3 favourite consoles. I own my 3 favourite consoles. And the consoles I own are the Super Nintendo, the Wii U, and the Nintendo Switch. In that order, Super Nintendo is my 3rd favourite, the Wii U is my 2nd favourite, and the Switch is my favourite. Now, I'm not going to harp on too much about why I think those are my favourite consoles. I'll just probably quickly go over why I've put them ahead of perhaps some of the other Nintendo consoles. I mean, in 4th place, and I do consider it a console, I'd probably put the Nintendo Game Boy. In 5th place, I would probably put the N64. In 6th place, I'd probably put the Nintendo Wii. In 7th place, I'll put the GameCube, and in 8th place, I'll put the Nintendo. The Nintendo, to be honest, it didn't, apart from the wow factor of Super Mario Brothers 3. Revisiting that system, there's not really a lot on it there that sort of brings me back to it. I put the Wii U higher than the Wii because the Wii U is a Wii. I think the Wii, generally, I love motion controls when they work well, but sometimes the Wii was overly reliant on motion controls, and sometimes the motion controls didn't work very well. So that's it. Those are my three favourite consoles. As if you couldn't tell, I'm a Nintendo fanboy. Now, my three worst consoles. If you are a Sega fan, if you love Sega, you'll probably want to stop watching this video now. What I'm about to say might send you into some sort of mini meltdown or rage. But my worst console I think I've ever played has to be the Sega CD or the Mega CD. I cannot understand it. I remember my friend bought one back in 1993. Well, I say my friend bought one. He was about 13 at the time. I think his parents bought it for him. But they dropped like £270 on this thing, brand new when it first came out. Now, if you adjust that for inflation in today's money, that's about 500 quid. £500 for an absolute heap of dog's do. It was so bad. Now, it did impress me when you first put in your CD, because we're all used to the carts back then, and it had like real sort of time film and real actors playing out parts in these games. I mean, that did look impressive, but once the novelty of all that wore off, the actual games with core, exciting and engaging gameplay, they were just few and far between. So my worst console, for the price, for the quality of games, for, I mean, it hasn't stood the test of time at all, has it? I mean, the Sega, most people think the Sega Saturn now rather than the Mega CD. I think the Mega CD's got a forgotten relic. I don't know if anyone's collecting for it. Let me know in the comments. So Sega CD, Mega CD is my least favourite console of all time. My second least favourite console of all time is the Sega Game Gear. I cannot stand the Sega Game Gear. I was a Nintendo Game Boy through and through. The Nintendo Game Boy had so many games which were so engaging and just so addictive to play. The Sega Game Gear, on the other hand, yes, it had colour, but it was a one-trick pony for me, and that's all it was. It had a colour screen, but again, the engaging games for it just didn't have what the Nintendo Game Boy had, and it didn't have the appeal, the nostalgia. I don't know if anyone's collecting for the Sega Game Gear. If you are, let me know in the comments. Put me to rights. Is Sega Game Gear one of your favourite consoles? Do you prefer it over the Game Boy? Sorry, Mr Cappy does not like the Sega Game Gear. For my third least favourite gaming console, I'd have to go for the Spectrum ZX. Now, I know that's going to cause a lot of controversy because I know the Spectrum ZX is loved by all. But for me, it just looked bland. It had a real lack of colour. And again, I was on the other side of the fence. I was brought up on a Commodore 64, and the Commodore 64 just seemed to have more colour and better graphics and more kind of playable and enjoyable games. I mean, I don't really know if that's true. So this is probably the one pick that might be a little bit biased, because whereas I've had plenty of experience with the Sega CD and the Sega Game Gear, I've not had that much experience with the Spectrum. I'm only saying it perhaps partially because I'm a Commodore 64 fan, and I perhaps never really gave the Spectrum a sort of a fair crack of the whip. So that's it, guys. A quick video, really. So my three favourite and my three least favourite consoles. I mean, I'd like to hear your thoughts. What are your favourite three consoles? What are your least favourite three consoles? Now, these consoles were chosen. I chose them on the basis that I've had to have played them. So I couldn't pick the Virtual Boy as one of my top three favourite consoles because I've never played the Virtual Boy, so I don't know. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one.